about that you put on the metal first was the way I learned. I don't remember what it was called back then, but I remember treating the panels with some kind of acid before we did anything. Like I said, I don't remember what it was called. That was the mid-'80s, so whatever they used back then. But I was introduced into the Epoxy Primer, like I said earlier, in like 1990, 1991. It was different stuff. It was being applied with nothing underneath. At least the people I knew were doing it that way. It never had a failure. But listening to everybody talk about it is bringing back a lot of memories. Like when Darren spoke about the Fords. I had a buddy that all the paint came off the hood of his truck. Mid-'80s Ford. And he was right. The epoxy primer underneath it was smooth as glass. You could almost wax it and call it a great paint job. And I remember his father-in-law was doing a lot of the trucks back then. Cars, trucks, whatever it was. And I knew the only way to cure it was to sand it all the way back down. And I never knew why. I never asked why. It didn't really matter to me back then. But now that it's brought up like that, I can see what they're talking about. I don't understand, and I left it as a comment, is I understand the etch primer. I understand how it works. I understand how it burns its way into the metal. That's great. Definitely sounds like a thing to do, but I don't understand why they give you any leeway whatsoever on the size of the metal that doesn't need to be etched. Why do they give you up to a hand size? Isn't that hand size going to fail? I would think there would be no tolerance. That the entire panel, minus your bodywork, would have to be covered with etch primer. Because if I leave something there the size of my hand, which is pretty big, okay? If I go by what everybody's saying, that area is going to rust and fail. So why would I want to do a job and have a hand-sized handprint fail on the car? So that just puts more doubt and mystery in my mind about everything. Like I said, I think it's one of these things, like I said, it's going to be debated depending on, I guess, people's past experience with it. But when I sit and weigh it all out, it sounds like the etch primer before the epoxy is the way to go. Or the etch and not use the epoxy, I guess. Even though I was shown different. But like I said, the last paint job I put on a car, true paint job, was in 1995. So that's 20 years ago. Everything's changed. So I have to take the advice of the people that do this on a daily basis. And do it on a daily basis and have the failures or see the problems come in. I mean, I see poor bodywork every day. I don't know why it's poor, other than the fact that people that did it were poor. So I'm gonna have to decide what I'm gonna do, because basically all I have is the tops of the fenders that are bare metal and a little bit of metal around the sides. The rest of the car, there's just a couple little dots you see on the back quarter so far. Everything else still has paint on it. The door still has paint on it. The 95% of the fender is skimmed and skimmed over with the metal glaze. So when I do the hood's just getting sanded. There's no body work to be done on it. So I like when Greg was talking about the vinegar and water. I can understand how that works. I see what vinegar does to aluminum. It almost etches it like you're anodizing it in a way. It does eat it away. It's just a much slower process than when you saw me use the the easy off oven cleaner. It just takes a lot longer. But you saw me soak that pan, that skillet, in the vinegar, and you saw what it did to it. If I would have left it there would have been no pan. That thing stopped cleaning the first day. Every day after that, the only thing I was scraping out was metal. Well, the cup taken out was metal, so the stuff does work. their days. Today's the day where you either vote in or don't vote in the union to come in. So I guess I'll know at the end of the day what the deal is, if it's going to be a union shop or a non-union shop. We'll see what happens. Well, good afternoon, guys. It's, I don't know what the hell time that says. Maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock. But leaving work now. We are officially a union shop at this point. So, thanks VW Rich for stopping by and hanging out with me for a couple hours. That was good times. I like when Rich stops by. I got to start stopping by his house now and bugging him and hounding him. But he wants to come over when I start painting and working on the car for real. So look forward to seeing him in the videos. Maybe I'll hand him the camera. No laughing, Rich. So, well, I guess that's it, guys. It's time to go home. Heading off into the sunset, as they say. To think an hour ago it was snowing. But it's gone. That's all that matters. No, that's it, guys. Everybody have a good night.